Hey, how is everybody today? This is Asbury Park and Curtis, your co-host, Scott Fain.
And your other co-host, his lovely sister, Ashley J.
Oh boy, today we're going to be talking a little bit about The Wedding Party from 2016, a Nigerian movie. I didn't realize it was a Nigerian when we started, or at least when we first looked at it, but pleasantly surprised, a Nigerian movie. Just to get started off, let me read the description of what the movie is. The synopsis on Netflix is: they vow to stay chaste till marriage, but first they'll have to survive the trip down the aisle. Now that is the most understated version of what takes place in this movie I've ever heard, but it was really good.
It's like saying, I speak English. And leaving it just that awkward. Okay. Anything else you want to tell me? Nope. That's it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this one we aren't going to have too much talking non-spoilery. Because we both have been chomping at the bit to start rapping on this movie so hard. But keeping this part of the conversation without spoilers, what would you say? You had a take on like a synopsis of this movie. Give your breakdown.
Okay, my breakdown is this was an entertaining catch-all. Everything that could happen in the movie happened in this movie. It was entertaining nonetheless. For me, it was my first Nigerian movie too, so there was initially a bit of a language barrier for me, but after I turned on the subtitles and got into my groove, it was a very entertaining wedding day story.
Wait, let me just stop you there. That is the important part. The important part about this, for those of us who are watching this as Americans, turn on the subtitles right out of the gate. It's not a foreign language film exactly. They're speaking English pretty much throughout the whole thing, but in the same vein as you'll watch a Spanish movie sometimes, and sometimes the native speakers, they'll just flow into something Spanish in the midst of their conversation. And if you don't know Spanish, you won't know or get whatever there is they're saying. And they do that in this movie a few times, where they'll be saying something, speaking Yoruba, and you won't understand what they're saying if you don't have the subtitles on. So, yeah, definitely. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You'd be lost in the lingo. Unless you speak Yoruba, more power to you. I did not. So I felt left out of the joke. Like, I felt like other people were getting it and I wasn't getting it. For the first, and it's weird because we're not only African American, well, we're not only American, we're African American. So it was a bit of a culture shock to see a quote unquote black movie that I didn't automatically get because I'm black. I had to work for this one.
I put in some work a little bit at first because, you start off the movie and there's a sensibility that's a little bit different than what you're used to. The people are talking different than what you're used to. They're dressing different. There's what they say to each other, and some of their mannerisms strike you as a little different or even sometimes a little odd. And I was like, I don't know if I want to keep watching this. I felt a little off put, because I couldn't, like you said, I wasn't getting it immediately. But I hung in there, and it was so much fun for me getting through this movie. I would compare this one personally to a Crazy Rich Asians. Not in the same vein as far as definitely not the same story, but Crazy Rich Asians was about, to me, when I watched it, it showed you a lot of opulence. They're rich, so you get to see a lot of, like luxury porn, beautiful cars, exotic this and diamonds and like stuff that's just like very, 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 very rich people get this type of stuff, or actually, I want to say that super duper rich people get the type of stuff that they were dealing with in Crazy Rich Asians. Now, in this movie, not like that with the rich or the materialism, but it is like that as far as just the passion, the colorful, the cultural stuff that they stuck to and celebrated is there. The colors, the excitement and the passion of the people who were celebrating and stuff with them, all of that stuff, it kind of mirrors that movie to me.
I could agree with that. I would make it a baby between Crazy Rich Asians and maybe The Best Man to incorporate some of the friendships and relationships and to make the focal point the wedding. I think if you combine those two movies and put it in Nigeria, we get something like The Wedding Party. Even though that still doesn't cover it at all.
No, it does not. It does not. This one, I'm not familiar with the directors, although I can say that I will be following up a little bit more. This one's directed by Kemi Adetiba. And forgive me for my pronunciations of these names. That's another part that I had to get used to, is the names are all African or Nigerian or what have you. So it's like no one's named Bob in this. There's no Saturdays. There's no Duni is the main the bride to be. Dozier is the name of the groom. And it gets more, I won't even say unusual. I'm sure it's usual for over there, but for us with American sensibilities as far as naming, it struck me as a little bit, wow, like I don't even know how to say that name. But yeah, it was good. So yeah, that's the director. And what's your grade? Let's start talking about it for real. What's your grade on this one?
My grade is a B.
Okay.
My grade is a B. My first time going through it, it was a C. Once I felt I got a little bit over the language barrier, I made it, I could give it a high B. It wasn't the very best movie for me, but what's the word? It did exceed my expectations. So I give it a high B.
I give it a B as well. I would say if the only thing that would detract from it for me is I don't know. I even know how to articulate what it is I'm feeling with it. It's like it was a good movie, but it wasn't quite great. But I couldn't tell you what would make this movie great. I'm still processing it, to be honest with you.
I think. I think they could have afforded to have less storyline. When I say everything was happening in this movie, everything was happening in this movie, which was good as in it didn't leave any, boring parts, but there were so many things happening that I think it could have been just as good without so many different aspects.
Yeah, you're right. There are, as I was even grabbing images for the eventual video, there was things that I just left out that happened. We can talk about them as we go, but there's little things. This is this is a thread that we can follow, and I'll give them credit. They actually I feel like they gave an arc to everything that they brought.
Yeah, everything made. I'm sorry.
Everything made sense. They clipped all the branches by the end. So if they brought something up, you had closure on each of those issues. And I can't say the same for some movies that have too many storylines going. You'll just see a bunch of storylines, and maybe you'll come back to this, maybe you won't. But they did a very good job of weaving all the stuff in. So anyway, let's start wrapping. So this is the point where you get some spoilers. So if you haven't seen this movie, stop it now. Go watch the movie. Come on back. You can chop it up with us.
So we can say everything we can remember. Yeah, we have notes.
Yeah, so the movie is basically it's the wedding day of these two people that are getting married, these young folks. Dooney is the girl, and Dozier, I learned how to pronounce it, Dozier. He's the groom. I guess his, what they call a reformed playboy is what we understand from the movie. And Dooney is a virgin getting married today. The first part of it, we see the wedding planner. That's the very lovely woman, very hot young woman, basically controlling the wedding, getting everything together before everybody comes a little bit later in the day. So you're getting to see a lot of the preparations, a lot of stuff happening. I think the first part of this is, go ahead.
I wanted to jump in on her really quickly because it does open up to the wedding planner, but being that I just got married not too long ago and looking at various like wedding videos and, you know, people documenting their weddings, Nigerian weddings do seem like a huge production. So having that bit of knowledge kind of prepared me for that scene, and I'm like, oh, they do take it seriously. Now, I'm not sure if everyone, you know, I know everyone may not have that opulence, but in America, the Nigerian weddings that I've seen really are a major production, so I can see why she would be high-strung and making sure that everything is together.
I get you. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So starting out, we're following the delivery guy. There's a guy on a little motorbike delivering invitations. Of course, he crashes out on his route and loses one of the invitations. This is a nice little thread. The first thread that they lay for this movie is a young man comes out shirtless and picks up the one invitation that the guy happened to leave behind that's announcing where and when this party's going to be. And you see the sinister smile on his face. So that's the first thread that we get picked up.
And you see the sinister smile on his face, but what concerns me, I hope, what concerned me, I would say, is his belly button. Why is it so big? I'm like, do they put theirs differently there? Like, I didn't know if that was a cultural thing or just an abnormal belly button. I know it's totally unrelated, but I can't help it.
I used to know what that was called. I call it an outie now, but it was noticeable, but I didn't, fault the cat for having an outie belly button. It was one of those, one of those things just kind of like, okay.
That's right. Okay, that's what y'all doing in Nigeria. We don't know. It's the only belly button they know.
Yeah, I can't tell if everybody's like that or not. So, of course, we catch up with the bride. She's getting her makeup put on, and she has her little girlfriends that come with her. Apparently, the only two who had speaking roles, because she has like 4 bridesmaids, but only 2 of them actually talked in this movie. Her one friend, what is her? Yemisi Coco. I think that's her name, the black one, and then her white friend's name, Deidre. She's from London, I guess. The one white lady in the movie is from London, and she's a bridesmaid. Mm-hmm. And very into the culture. I have to say, I didn't take anything away or didn't stand out to me. Only the fact that she likes and I can tell she really enjoys and is celebrating this Nigerian culture. She knows the customs. She likes the food. She definitely likes the men. So yeah.
And on a scale where the white woman is an actual guest, not the majority, not the person in charge, not with privilege, I was totally okay with her liking the Nigerian men and the Nigerian food and all of that. I think I may have had, a different outlook on it had it not been that, but I was totally unbothered by that. Go ahead and get in the culture.
I get what you mean. She didn't. It never came across that she was in any way like deigning to be there. She wanted to be there. She was excited to be there. And you could tell. There was a level of authenticity in her character that was interesting and cool.
And none of the men she wasn't the treasure. Like, there was no big spotlight made on her in the other sense that, oh my gosh, there's 100 black women around, but look at her.
They did not do that. They did not do that. I didn't put my finger on that because I didn't pull it out. But yeah, you're right. She's just a guest at the wedding. And a friend of the people, the main guest or the main character. She's a friend of them. And there was never a scene like you get where you see other black women looking like, what's she doing? You know what I'm talking about? Like, what's she doing? Or something.
There was
like
no
that.
animosity. The playing field was level.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, so following them, getting in and walking in the door and bowing for some reason to the father of the bride, they move right into the groomsmen and all of the guys sitting around talking and having a good time in their suits. And this is the second thread that we get, where one of his groomsmen named has a flash drive with a video from the previous night's bachelor party on it. And everybody's like, oh, what are you doing with that? Don't you ruin this day. He's apparently got that type of reputation with everybody. It's like, oh, he's a guy that he's going to act a fool. So why would you even take this video? And that's the first thing I said. Like, why would you even bring it with you? Why, you know what I'm saying? Like,
why does it exist on a flash drive?
Why does it exist? Why did you take this recording and then bring it to the wedding with you? Why did you put it in your pocket? Because I was like, you know that this is gonna come back somehow to bite them in the ass, and of course it does later. But so that's the first part of this.
Who walks around with flash drives?
Apparently, this guy does.
Right.
So one of the. And then we're introduced, of course, to the bride's mother, and I'm assuming either her aunts or her mom's girlfriends. And
also another feminine entourage who didn't get speaking roles, but were very present the whole movie and colorful.
Yeah, yeah, they were kind of like what do you call that in Greek mythology? It's some kind of chorus. It's a Greek chorus, I think is what they call it, weirdly. Where basically they were just kind of amen and everything that the mama was saying. And,
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
And in the black church, we call that the amen choir.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, every time there was a slight on the mama, they would be there with that, that the look on the face. I've never seen more looks in a movie that just resonated with me.
Yes, the one lady did it well. You didn't like the groom's mother. We don't like her either. Automatically.
Yes. Like the bride or the groom's mother is giving you a hard time. All of the ladies would be like, what you gonna do? Love them. They were hilarious to me. So of course the bride's mother, she is my favorite character in this movie. Tinu, my favorite character in this movie. She is always, every scene, doing stunts and shows.
Yes, she is.
Her abilities.
She is the star of this movie. Her comedic timing, her facial expressions, the fact that she'll just burst into song. She was everything. I enjoyed her.
Praise God! she was doing it. Oh my goodness. So the first
and then to have some money on top of that, you couldn't feel hurt nothing.
Yeah. So
it was obvious that they made it obvious around this part that the groom's parent the groom's family was more affluent and, like a higher status than the bride's family. But you could not tell that based off of the bride's mom's attitude. You could not tell her she was not queen herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I loved it.
That's true. I thought she was the most funny part of this movie to me.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about her. And then the opposite was true with the groom's mom. You know what? I can't pronounce her name. I couldn't get her name right. I'm gonna have to look it up while you talk. But basically, butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. I mean, she was perfect as far as just somebody being cold and arrogant. And they introduced her where they're having breakfast, and she's having breakfast with her girlfriends, her own Amen choir, who are snobby and bitchy themselves. And she said something like, talking about how she doesn't like the girl, obviously. She doesn't like the girl that her son is marrying. And so she's kind of talking down to her friends about her. And it's like, all these women that my son would walk in here with, and he brings home this house girl from such and such. And she was like, one girl even came and said, "Oh, Mom, can I help you cook?" And she was like, "Can you imagine me cook?" And she just had the look of like, I don't deign to pick up a fork if I didn't have to. It was just, she played it perfect. I mean, I've never seen somebody out cold and just like cold.
Yeah, I recognized her instantly. If the goal was to dislike her instantly, the goal was met. Like, why such disdain? Like, it was just, goodness gracious. It took a while to figure out, for me, what she didn't like about her. Like, well, what, I don't know. I can't relate to you because at this time, I'm not sure what it is you don't like about her so much. But I know I don't like you. That's what I walked away from. Oh, we don't like her, especially with the entertaining bride's mom who was so fun and over the top. And you just get her.
I definitely would want to hang out with the bride's family more so than the groom's family, to be honest. If you had to go spend time and have a holiday weekend somewhere, then you might want to be in the groom's house, the groom's family's house.
I was about to say, I don't know about that. If I'm going to Nigeria, I might want to go to the bitchy lady house where we don't cook. The bride's mama liable to have you in there making bean soup. I'm cool. I'll take the opulence.
Let me move on with the plot here. Okay, so the next scene sequences, of course, still getting ready. Dooney's still getting ready for the wedding. Her girls basically gave her some sexy lingerie because she had some real cheap stuff, stuff that wasn't sexy apparently. Gave her some great lingerie. And then in that same scene, around the same time, you find out that the best man is now in a full body cast and can't come to the wedding that day. So, of course, they have to make a change. And who, of course, gets to be the best man? But, of course, the jackass.
The screw up.
Yes.
But can we go revisit the best man who is literally moving around every part of his body that's casted? Like, how are you in a cast but moving everything? I'm like, is this comic relief or am I supposed to take this seriously? Is he pranking them?
I totally did not get that. You're right. He is in a full body cast and he lifts his arm to give have a good time without me. He's moving his head. What the heck is it with that?
Did you want to wear white?
Oh my goodness. Cause he's bandaged from he don't have his toes and his hands aren't bandaged, but head all the way down to his ankles is bandaged. Like he can't move, but he is moving around. Anyway. Yeah, that was funny. So of course, now Sola, the screw up, is the one who has the responsibility of being the best man. Of course, he's told, "Don't you do anything that's going to mess up this day for me." So of course he
Right.
would do something to mess up the day for him. I mean, you can't say that in the movie and for it not to come true at this point.
Also true, yes.
You know, it's almost like saying, what could possibly go wrong? Never say that. Never say that in life. Anyway. So of course, moving forward, the wedding is still coming together, and we get our first meeting with Michael, the caterer. So apparently, the mother of the bride, Tinu, she fired the caterer and hired another caterer to cook the food. It's not 100% clear to me. She says she got rid of them, but it seems like the mother on the groom's side also still had her caterer there to serve her guests. But the mom's caterer is one that serves people local food, you know, that good home cooking type Nigerian food.
Right.
And so there's a clash there because, of course, the daughter just wanted to go along and flow. And I was like, what did I do? I just wanted to have the food. I wanted to make sure you had all the food you like. Blah, blah, blah.
Yes, I equate that to what's her name? Michael?
Mm-hmm. Michael.
Michael. I equate that to her making greens and ham hocks and fried chicken wings, where the groom's parents are having sushi and filet mignon and lobsters and yeah, it was very, I guess, what's the word? Very bougie and then kind of ghetto, I guess is the contrast between the two characters and the two types of food that they had.
I can see that. Yeah. I can see that.
Even though I didn't relate to either type of, both of them were foods I wasn't used to seeing, but just how it was spent, you could tell that, you know, Miss Michael over there has the greasy takeout with the bulletproof windows that got a line down the street. And the mother got that because she knew it was slamming.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. See, but I think that part of it has to do with that scene that they have with her and the bridesmaids, Dooney and the bridesmaids sitting in the tub, and they're reminiscing about the time when Dooney was away at college and her mom brings it was some kind of fish stew up to campus just because she thought she needed a little bit of home cooking to make her feel for exams or what have you. At the time, the girl was embarrassed because, mom's there, fish smells, but it was also a loving gesture, and she could take away the embarrassment. That was the thing that got rid of the embarrassment, was the love, that somebody actually cared enough to bring this food all the way to you. And so it healed that rift, that little bit of a rift about the catering between the mother and the daughter. So I thought that was nice.
Yeah, she had good friends to bring her back down to that.
Yeah, that's what you need. That's what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, we cut back to the groom's home, where since the best man has gotten into the accident, he had someone else bring the rings. I don't know if he did this on purpose, but the someone else is an ex-girlfriend and cousin of the best man, but an ex-girlfriend of the groom. And she is laid out in her best trying to get a dude outfits. I mean.
And right here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll let you finish describing her.
No,
I'm ready.
Go ahead. Hit it with it.
I knew from that scene that the daddy wasn't it. I knew it. The mother of the groom came down the stairs 3 seconds before the daddy of the groom was about to take this lady in one of them rooms and do something with her. And she was all the way with it. And I knew I didn't like the dad from right there. Like, oh, I know you guys. Okay, proceed.
I take issue with that only in the sense I don't think he wanted to take her away because he recognized her. Like she's known them. Like I said, I think she's cousins with the best man. So their families and stuff know each other. At least that was the idea I got from it. I think he was looking at her like, dang, you grown. Like, you really grew. But I agree. When he looked up, I did say, oh, something ain't right. Because he does look at her like, But I don't think it works for that because there's history.
I say let the mama came down the stairs 10 minutes later.
We won't know for sure. But then, of course, the mama throwing salt in her son's game because she sends the girl up to the bedroom.
Exactly. Who would rather their son be with a hoe than a virgin? I'm just saying. You have the issue with the...
Well, it's not the whole part. I think her family has money. I think her family is from their same class status. So that gets over that any kind of,
virtuousness.
Yeah.
Or virtue, rather.
Right. She was looking at least he could be with somebody whose father is I think she said it, whose father owns Western Indie Electronics or some junk like that. So basically she was just looking at, this girl has money, this girl has class, I like her better than this other sweet girl who's also, pretty and smart and my son's actually in love with. So of course the girl goes up there. And no good can come of this. If I was the best man, I wouldn't have left them alone in that room by themselves. No. That's not best man's job. Best man is to keep you, protect you, and get you down that aisle. Protect you from yourself.
And not to mention, he was not the best man. His brother was one of his groomsmen. So even if it fly past your best man, it probably should also fly past your brother.
True. That was another part that I thought was a little interesting with regard to the culture, because when his father asked him, like, are you the best man? He's like, no, I can't be your best man. I'm his brother. It shouldn't be me. It should be somebody else. So maybe some kind of cultural thing where your best man is not your brother.
Maybe.
But I thought he would have been like, you wouldn't have had any of the
best man before the one with the fake cast on.
Right, yeah. So anyway, the whole purpose of this scene is to get Dozier. I have to always, that's where there's always a pause before I say the names, because I'm like, what was his name again? Every time. Dozier, basically just to get him in a room with her by himself to plant a little thread that gets followed back up on later. So of course this girl actually gets this cat on the bed, just about kisses him before his father bursts in and just to check on him and stuff like that. I'm glad he did. I don't think the dude would have done anything, but it's still, that little 110-pound whatever should not be able to get you on your back on the bed. I'm sorry.
On your wedding day at your parents' house.
On your wedding day. Yes, there's no way. There's no way.
And I did get small confirmation that the dad was trash. Oh no, it's okay, son. Like, I'm definitely not going to say anything. I'm not going to reprimand you for making out with this girl, Rosie, on your wedding day. That's fine. Just know that marriage is work. I'm like, yep, that's trash.
See, but that's the thing. That's the part about this that gave me some kind of insight into the mother. Because I didn't like her at first. They make it so you don't like her.
Mm-hmm.
She has reason. She got receipts. They
make you wait.
Kind of like that. Yeah,
but
receipts. So of
she
course,
probably didn't start off that way, but yeah. He was trash, so you imagine being married to trash for 30 years. And it let me know she knew what she was doing when she walked down them stairs, and she knew her husband was trash. Like, nah, let me go downstairs and see what's going on.
See, highlight.
Go talk to my son and leave my husband alone, please, ma'am.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So that was a good scene. That was the end of that scene with him and the father, Dozie and the father. There was a part, I felt like they should have cut it a second or two before they actually did. Because remember when he said, I think you should be saying, because his father gives him some really nice advice about, you know, like you're saying, marriage is work and never stop fighting for it like he did. You know, he's like, learn from my mistake. I stopped fighting for my relationship, and so this is why she's cold and I'm just kind of here. Mm-hmm. And he expressed some regret and wanting to do something different. And his son was like, I think you don't need to be saying this to me. I'm the wrong person for this conversation. And he gets this far away look in his eyes, like that really reached him. And I was like, what a great place to cut. And they kept it on his face long enough for Doze to be like, Dad, to wake him out of it and say, come on, let's go. I was like, why didn't you just leave it on that? That was perfect to just leave it on that. Anyway.
I didn't recognize the part. I remember the look, but I didn't remember that Doze broke the look with saying something.
Yeah. Sometimes I just settle on the smallest thing. It's like whether that could have been a little bit better or different. Anyway.
It's okay. At least it wasn't a belly button.
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. So now we get to see Bride's dress, which I thought was a really nice dress, although that train was a bit much to me. Especially to have it, you know, it seems like you should be able to take on and off that thing as long as it was. It felt like it was 20, 30 feet.
Yeah, but it would be weird for the bride not to be dramatic with all of the other propaganda happening.
True.
She was bent down compared to everybody else.
Yeah, she didn't have any color except white on. Well, she did have that beautiful jeweled crown that she's wearing, which I thought was pretty sweet, to be honest.
Yeah. She looked really
of course, right away, her dress, the train gets ripped. But they don't really do anything with that. Like, the train gets ripped.
When the dress ripped, I'm like, oh, I got this movie now. Now it's going to be everything that can go wrong at a wedding. Like, I thought it was going to turn into straight comedy and all of the things just falling apart, but that's not where they went with that.
No, they just kind of skipped over it. It was like almost like you didn't even need to rip the dress if you're not going to do anything with it. That's the one
you know what?
they did something with.
In rewatching, I think that scene was giving us, the audience, insight that the dad didn't have the money that the mom thought they had on the bride's side. Because something happened with the back and forth with the people standing around them. Like, and the mom's like, I'll buy you a new dress. Or the dad's like, we can get a new dress. And he kind of whispered over to somebody like, no, we can't. We don't have it. It was like an indication that they don't have it, like they acting like they got it.
You know, you're probably right. But see, you picked up on stuff on this movie that I didn't even realize at the time. I was like, I watched it through twice too, and I did pick up on more the second time around, but I didn't even catch that. So, like I said, they ripped the dress, but that's not really a place they decided to spend much time. So they came to they came to the wedding a little late, and of course the mom is the groom's mother is looking like with utter disdain that they even late at all. And not thinking, basically, I guess there's something that happened off screens, basically, with the dress and how they had to repair it or something. But they do show up, dress is still ripped, but they don't make a big deal out of it. And then go through with the ceremony.
Oh, you know what? We have to visit the bride and groom on the way to the wedding, because in my mind, there would have been no wedding to go to. No. It was not the way. Hold on, wait a second. Did that happen between the wedding and the reception? Okay, I'm skipping. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
No, that comes a little bit later, what you're about to
talk
about. First, they get married. They arrive at the thing. Of course, the groom's mother is being very cold and she's trying. Tinu is trying. They come down and she smiles at the mother, and the woman just looks like I don't even bother to wave and look your way. And it's like the look on her face when she waves at him at first from across the aisle, and then she gives it that like, and then she started pointing like, what? How dare you? Oh my goodness. Like I said, the lady was doing some great stuff. And then the woman, the groom's mother didn't even stand up during the wedding ceremony. When everybody stands for the bride, she ain't do it.
Oh, I didn't know this.
She sat there like she was in pain. Like, I ain't getting up for this. Like, she did some real shady stuff that I caught the second time around. She didn't stand for that. When they come out after the ceremony's over, because, everybody, they come out greeting everybody. She hugs, Dooney hugs and kisses the father. Then she turns to the mother, who basically puts her head and puts that fan that she got, like, between her face and the girl's face to keep her from kissing her. I was like, oof. She ain't a joke. She is not a joke.
Yeah, I missed the part with the fan. I'm just like, yeah, the mom was a trip. She really was a trip. Yeah, they say that about mother-in-laws. She got all the mother-in-law stigma right there.
Right. Yeah, she did. That it's worth noting though. Those two little things are really big signs of disrespect. So now what we have to do is get to the title part of the movie, the wedding party. The wedding was over within the first half hour. Like you were saying to me, I thought this movie was going to be about the wedding, and it was not. The wedding happened like this. It's the wedding party where you get the interesting and fun stuff that starts happening. And
right. Which in my mind, it's kind of, I said, which in my mind, when you were saying, the action takes place kind of after they're already married, most of it anyhow. And, I don't know, I guess for me, it just feels like it's over at that point. Like the wedding is the vows are the most important, because a lot of the things that happen after you said I do is kind of like, well, you're already married now. I don't know.
Yeah, they usually do. You know what? Usually movies like this will hold the marriage or the sealing of the marriage as the final carrot to all the actions and the shenanigans that happen beforehand. Like, all this stuff happens. They might break up. They might not break up. They're upset with each other. They're this. It all happens before they say I do. And then the magic is I do cures all the other BS. And then they can go on happy ever after. This one was like, here, let's get the I do's, and now we're going to give you the drama.
Right. And the other shoe falls now as Mrs. Okondo. I'm sorry, I forgot how to say your name. But
and there's a reason why I don't. The lady's name, the mama of I'm looking at it now, the mother of the groom, her name is Lady Obianuju Onwuka. I'm going to call her Lady Obi from now on.
Okay.
So basically, yeah, so Lady Obi, I'm even messing that up. Lady Obi is not too happy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've seen Mother of the Brides in other things where they've done active stuff to make the, marriage not come through, or, she's not doing anything malicious. I will give her that.
No, she's just
not happy to be there. She just ain't happy to be there.
She's not trying to destroy the wedding or embarrass her family.
Nope. She just if I could be anywhere else, if my son could be marrying anyone else, well, not anyone else, but someone that I approve of, she'd be happy. And since that's not the case, I don't like it. Yeah. So, of course, on the way to the reception, the wedding party, in this case, they get separated. The bride and groom get separated from the rest of the wedding party, and they're a little bit delayed. The reason for the delay is because of our young earlier edition, Rosie, as you call her, the hoe, planted something on my man Dozy.
Mm-hmm.
They had the nerve to put a thong in his top pocket of his jacket on his wedding day. That's some sociopathical shit right there.
That's trifling. My note says verbatim, oh, hell no. Was that Rosie's jaw?
It took me a while. You know what? Because I like to turn my brain off watching these movies sometimes to kind of not to be surprised. And I was like, I wonder if no, it could have been Sola. I didn't, because they didn't give us would show me that Rosie could have even done that. Because they clipped between her walking him to the bed and them laying on each other. There was a scene between that when they were in his room together. And so,
and I assumed they went all the way and just didn't show us.
Oh, you did? Oh, you assumed he did her? Real, but the father came in when she had just got him on his back.
I didn't care. I smelt it on Rosie when she walked in the door. And I believed her. I'm like, oh, they just cut that out. I just thought I was smarter than the movie, and they just didn't want to show us that part. But he did it. That's where I was at.
No, you weren't. So basically, she finds Rosie's dirty drawers in his pocket, and of course, she was like, "We need to just stop this man and get it annulled right now." I do think she's gonna have to calm down a little bit. She just got married. I feel like you can talk. You have to be able to talk to your husband, or at least hear the cat out. You know, it's like, this is not what it looks like. I don't know how they got in there. And it just, he did make a good point, though. I thought he made a good point. It's like, why would I do this, now? This doesn't make any sense for me to bring dirty drugs. Like, either they were planted, or I'm a crazy person that's going to put dirty drawers in my pocket on my wedding day. And it's like, if you know me well enough to know me to want to marry me, how could you think I'm going to put dirty drawers in my pocket on my wedding day? These were planted.
Because I know your past. I know you used to mess out. There is no way. You should not have been in the vicinity for somebody to plant dirty drawers on you on your wedding day, all close to the vest in the heart. You ain't checked your inside coat pocket till right now? No, thank you, sir. You don't smell dirty drawers on your chest all through the ceremony? No, I'm not with it. You didn't pin on your boot and say, oh, there's some drawers in my pocket. No. We are done. Ain't no wedding party. Movie over. 40 minutes in.
No.
That's how
No. Oh my goodness. No. I'm saying, if you're going to marry him, you knew his past before you got married. You knew his past before you got engaged. He is a playboy. Now, he has said to you and shown you up to this point, I'm assuming, up to this point, he has not given her any reason to doubt that he's out there, other than his past, other than people, you know how people talk. They always want to talk shit about you. So I'm sure she would get stuff from a girl here or somebody there saying, oh, he used to be all out in the streets with all these women, you gonna marry him? That's not, they were in a relationship.
On the converse side, you do that and you go through and you accept that he's changed and you put all of your, I'm not stupid, he really does love these feelings away, and then you pull out drawers out of his jacket pocket after you just said, I do. That makes you feel like everything you looked over was stupid.
I have something. This, if anything that should have happened here, what should have happened here was he should have come completely clean to say, well, he said he didn't know. Maybe he wasn't about it at the time. I'm talking about the character. But it would have been the time that said it must have been Rosie. Like, we had my best man I just tell you, my best man did. He had sent over the ring. Rosie was the one who brought it. She came on to me. I pushed her off. But wow, it's like, I apologize for that. I wasn't going to say anything because it wasn't important. But this must have been her. You know what I'm saying? I would let you know.
I do know what you're saying. I'm cracking up because I actually have times in life where I feel like if my life is a movie and somebody is watching it, like there are times when the audience is yelling at the screen, just say it, just do it. And this was one of those times where, like, if only you would just say, I hate that part with movies. Like, I love and hate that part. We're just like, you could just say words and it would fix the whole thing. Just say these words. But No, he doesn't do that.
No, he does not. He does not. And but hopefully that'll come with time. So of course, while these two are having their little fight about these draws, the mama team is at the wedding, jumping to conclusions and falling all over herself because what she say? Maybe they did this, a flat tire. Now they're kidnapped. She escalated within 10 seconds from they got a flat tire, they're lost, to they got kidnapped, and now, oh my God, I'm dead, my girls, oh my goodness. And so, oh my goodness. So yeah, she's laying on the floor by the time, Lady Obi shows up to, kind of greet the guests too. And she's like, what are you doing? And she actually had the same reaction I had. She's like, what is going on? Why are you sitting here clowning like this? Like, why are you laying on the floor like this? Like, you can't just act right. But, yeah, that was the part when they actually did show up. The mama, she got up off the ground. She was like, praise God. Like, her mother is very, very energetic. Good.
Yes.
Of course, they got there. They checked in on the kids. They've all made, and they're canoodling again, so we're good. And then we get to the part of the movie that I found made me feel like every wedding I've been to is a total bore, including my own.
Yes.
Because
you mean to tell me she's gonna vibe down the aisle together?
Yes.
The whole family.
They dance in together to the reception. And
yes.
It's got their own cultural music, and they got their own little chants that they can say back and forth, and they dancing. This is the first time I even see the mama smile in the whole movie. Is when she comes walking in slowly, dancing, doing her hip gyration and stuff like that. I mean, this is fun. What?
We could have been all twerking down the aisle at the same time. And then do it there when we got to the altar. We missed so many opportunities.
Right.
If I'm Nigerian, I'm having another wedding.
And that was cool. And of course, in the midst of this, you get to see our little resident thief who gate crashed, the one who picked up the invitation. We forgot to mention, in the process of this movie, at least up to this point, getting into the reception, there's supposed to be some sort of security to keep out the riffraff. And of course, there's a bunch of local folks that kind of bum rush the gate to get in. One of them is the cat who had the bum invitation. And he sneaks in, and he's sneaking and stealing phones from folks and just kind of walking around casing the joint.
Oh, that was him stealing phones. I was a little confused. Like, I thought there were multiple people pickpocketing people.
No.
And initially, I thought they were stealing invitations out of each other's pockets.
There were people like local folks who just came to crash the wedding and eat stuff. There was an older couple, and they had a couple of kids with them. And the thief actually just climbed, he snuck in when they snuck in.
Okay.
But all they were trying to do was have a good time,
I can imagine. Yeah, that's like the best free club in Nigeria. You can get entertainment, the best food, dancing, all types of stuff. So yeah.
Party gifts, after party favors when it's all done.
Yeah, good one. Whole bag.
So this whole section was just lovely, with regard to just seeing all the people dancing, the mom, Tinu and Lady Obi dancing in with their families, and the music's slightly different for each family coming in, and everybody's laughing and having a good time. Like, this seems like a great time. And then, of course, to pour cold water and stuff on the whole situation, you have young Rosie, who had the nerve to show up in a white dress. Woo! Her and her mean girl crew walked into the wedding party. Excuse me.
And what was wrong with Dooney that Rosie had an invitation? As I got the impression that Rosie was like a known ex of the groom.
Yeah, I did.
So why was she there in the first? Why did she have the invitation? The security was so tight.
This is me filling in the blanks. I can't say because the movie didn't tell me. But I imagine, since she is cousins with the best man, that's probably how she got the invitation.
Yeah.
Through her family. Like it might, like you said, early in the movie, the two bridesmaids said it's not your wedding or it's not Dooney's wedding. It's actually her parents' wedding.
The parents' wedding. True. And she had a relationship with the parents. So yeah.
Right.
The stepmama invited her, basically.
Probably.
Not the stepmama, the mother-in-law.
Lady Obi. She probably did. Either her or through her family connection, she got an invitation. Because of course she did. And then so basically she shows up with her girls. They walk in all mean girl style. All of them were wearing white, to be honest. And then of course the cake. That was the first sign. Well, actually the second sign now that you brought it up to me. Second sign that something's happening with the money on these parents' side, because the woman comes in and says, "Oh, the people won't release the cake if you don't pay them some money." And he's like, "What you doing? Talk with them."
I had a laugh out loud moment, like the check for the cake. I thought that was hilarious. I just couldn't fathom that the cake would be in the building, but since you didn't pay for it, you won't get it.
We won't give it to you because the check bounced. I feel like that's something that should have come up before now. If it bounced, right when it bounces, that's when you call and get that check. Like, why would you even deliver it? Anyway. So, of course, they work it out. It's unclear. They work it out. And then the bridegroom, the bridesmaids and the bride and groom get to dance in. Everybody's dancing in. It was having a good time. The music. Anyway, you got the mean girls staring, mean mugging them. And, this is the part that I tripped out on. So everybody, once the groom and bride come in, they come to the front. And everybody's kind of dancing around them. And the father, Dozi's father, he, as part of their thing, he tosses like dollar bills, mixed over the top of them, boom, and drop some dollar bills over the top of them. And I guess more people are doing that. Like that's part of the ceremony, to throw money at the bride and groom. And that's when the mean girls show up to throw shade and money, apparently, at old girl, at Dooney. Cause
I definitely had to. Yes, I had to rewind that part because I'm like, are they throwing money at her with an attitude? Like, okay, it's hard to be offended with people throwing money at your face. Like, it takes you a while to, are you being mean and throwing money at the same time? But they were like, pushing her in the face with
money. Yeah, they're just like throwing money, kind of smiling meanly at her, but they're throwing money at her, so okay. It's like, this is
I'll stay here a little bit longer while we figure this out. I think you're being mean.
I feel like you're being mean to me, but
right.
It's giving me mixed signals.
But shout out again to the best bridesmaids. They didn't start no stuff. They just came and started collecting the money.
Yeah, but the father, Dozie's father, he's the one who came in and rescued her. Like, he basically got in front, in between her and those girls, and was smiling and dancing at her while they kind of edged off to the side and left.
And backed up. Right, but at that point, her girls did also start picking up the money for her.
Oh, my goodness. So, here's the other thread that came up at this point. The guests are not liking the hoity-toity food and want more of E.I. Michael's food instead.
Oh, is that what happened? Okay. Mm-hmm. I was a little confused. I knew that something happened, but I didn't realize that's why the other, what's her name? The first name is throwing me off.
E.I. Michael.
E.I. Michael, too.
Yeah, because the mom, Lady Obi, was like, don't you serve my guests that food, that mush that you're serving over there. I want them to be served, the hoity-toity
mush
and all that kind of stuff. She wanted to serve that.
Hers was like mush, too. She just had different color sauces to go on top of her.
Right. So they basically, once the people, those plates got brought out, people didn't like it. They sent that back, and they were like, we want, what they're eating over there. And so, like I said, that was the whole scene basically. The Ian Michael walked over to the other caterers and took their clean plates to put their food on those plates. So that was all that was. Very funny.
It was very funny.
Oh, and then the pastor with wedding prayer.
He was my favorite scene. He was my favorite scene. It was so unnecessary, but it was my favorite scene. It was one of those parts like, did you really need this too?
Right. But there's a pastor that's obviously a pastor of the bride's family. And he's going to go up and deliver the impassioned prayer for the wedding. And what does he say?
Let me tell you, people, I wrote it down verbatim.
Hit me with it.
First of all, he was from the Church of God Must Do It Ministry. That's the pastor of the church he was. It was everybody who objects to this marriage, no mercy. Die by fire. All hoes, die away. Die
the daughters of Jezebel, who are here now, who want to stop this wedding, who are
Rosie and your friends, die.
Yeah, any of your friends who have stories, who are doing things that will break up this wedding, die by fire.
Then the bride's mom starts chanting with it, like, yes, die
by fire. Yes. He was hilarious. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Worst surprise of admission, that came.
Yes, it was.
Well, and as I'm looking at the summary of the movie, it's like one thing after the next, because the very next thing that happens is, of course, the father, his girlfriend, or some chick he's been messing around with, uninvited, and sits
trying to come to their table.
Yeah, trying to come to their table. Oh my goodness! And
bad teachers all over the world do not know their place. It's not just America. No, you're wrong. Now you know good and well this man sitting here with his wife at his son's wedding. What could you have to say?
I thought she was gonna say something. I thought she was gonna be like, "What you
what is there to say that doesn't make you look dumb?"
I don't know. But fortunately, he had the best blocker in the world with his son.
Yes.
He stepped on that bullet. He jumped over there. He's like, "You are not gonna embarrass me and my family, brother. You need to step, or I'm gonna you stepped out. What you gonna do?" And she left. But I was like, that was cool. Like, in a lesser movie, she'd have made a scene, and then we'd have had to spend time there. I liked it. We just got to see what could have been, and, it's like we just kind of left it away. Do you feel like...
And this is where you respect his wife. Like, oh, yeah, I'd be a bitch too. And the confirmation that he was trash.
Right.
I knew he was trash. Rosie walked in the door.
If she was cold and you don't like her, as affable and nice as the father is, you can't either, because his actions help make her that way.
Mm-hmm. Like, you absolutely came to her side. Like, oh, I get it. I get why you cold. Yeah. This guy is a head honcho dude, so you don't want to necessarily give up your position to the side women, but, oh, I'm gonna have an attitude about it.
And then you ain't got the nerve. Like, you don't have enough wherewithal for your side chick where she know you better not show up here. So how many times, like, if this is what they do on the wedding day, how many times has she gotten just disrespected like that on a regular day, when Thursday, she just show up, so, like, not necessarily her, but you might have had a number of chicks that kind of showed up without knowing their place and being in the background and whatnot. I mean, I don't approve of it all around, but if you're going to do that, there has to be rules to this thing, isn't it?
You would think, but apparently not anymore. They out here with it. They want you to know.
Right.
I am number 2. Here I am. They proud. I don't know. I don't get it, man. More power to you. But if the mama would have stopped you and all the aunties would have fucked up on you, you would have got what you had coming. True. I don't think I have the gumption to mess with somebody's husband and then come tell you about it. Like, you're not uncomfortable. I would be so uncomfortable. But yeah,
we're not everybody.
Thank God. Thank God.
So you said did you have something to say about this is the one white character. She, I guess, during one of the presentations during the ceremony, the bride's family had a dance troupe come out doing traditional dance from, I guess, around where their family is from in the South. It was a
right, but not exactly where they were from. Yeah, the wrong tribe.
Yeah,
but you know,
if our tribe is from Cleveland, they got somebody from Toledo, an advanced troupe from Toledo. Same thing. It's not quite the same thing, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. They looked awkward though. I mean, in comparison to how elaborate everyone else's like garb and dress were, they seemed like they were supposed to have more of a, I don't know, I don't want to say it was like comedy, but it was more different, and I didn't know if that was what the groom's family was insulted about. Like, are they insulting them, or is it just different? You know, like, was it just an honest mistake? I didn't understand at first.
I think, at least the way I read it, was that they are from, she said we're from the Igbo tribe. And I guess the Igbo tribe is different than the Ekiti tribe, which these dancers come from that. They came from a different tribe. They might have been neighboring tribes, you know, as far as geographically, but they might have had different colors that they represent and that they rock. So I didn't think that their colors and the outfits were comical. I just felt like they were just, this particular tribe likes these colors and this type of style. And so if they're not exactly your tribe, this is not necessarily the honor that you think it is, you know?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I did come to that, but initially I was just thrown off because they seem to be dressed up differently than everybody else at the wedding. But yeah, I understood that. And I was a little, at first I was thrown off, but then I was slightly surprised when I was cheering on the white bridesmaid because you could tell they obviously had a choreographed dance that they were presenting, but she took it upon herself to join in like they was doing the hustle. And I wanted to be offended at first. But then I'm like, you know what, you go ahead and get you some shine. You want to learn to dance, at least you got the balls enough to go up in there and try it. So I was rooting her on.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, that wasn't disrespectful. It was. You could tell she just loved being in Nigeria and the culture. More power to you. How we get to one of the last big sequences before the movie ends is the best man speech, which you already knew this was going to be the case before we even got to this point. Because of course, what's his name? Dozy says to Sola, it's like, okay, I want you to play this. Gives him a flash drive. Play this during the best man speech. I guess it'd be some music or whatever. We never know what he actually was going to play. And he gives it to Sola. So I knew at that moment, I was like, oh, this is where they mix up tapes or mix up the flash drive.
Right.
That's the party.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, he mixes up the flash drives because he's drunk. And he didn't have enough wherewithal to get to that thing or leave it back in the room. And he actually holds up two flash drives, not knowing which one is which, and then just guesses and hands her one. It's like, dude.
Hand her both of them at least, right?
Yeah, here, give her both. Check this first to make sure which one is which. Something, anything. Don't
get a flash drive. I lost it.
Yeah, I lost. Or yeah, that could we like. You know what? I don't think I have it. Put it back in your pocket. Anyway,
But
so
son, that's too much. That's asking too much of the family fuck up to do in the first place. Like, we asking way too much of him. He could have at least gave her both. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. One of these is it, but yeah.
So
and then to move on, since we're talking about that, he gives his speech and the video starts playing. And is it just me, or did nothing offensive happen at the bachelor party? I was looking, I saw nothing that wasn't regular bachelor party. Now, I mean, I guess you don't know what they were privately leading him up to, but you saw nothing really all that incriminating.
Yeah. That's all you saw is him getting drunk and him yelling and screaming, which is kind of typical. It was very tame. Only tamer bachelor party was the bachelor party I had with Johanna. You know, just a bunch of guys sitting around chit-chatting and talking. But, you know, that was what he wanted. So we had a good time. This is what he wanted. He wanted to have a little fun, drink. There were girls there, but like you said, they weren't naked.
No, I was expecting the worst. Mind you, I had just watched The Boy, so I was expecting everything. Like, oh, this was nothing.
I know, it's this is the type of bachelor woman she wanted.
This is PG.
Nothing.
PG-13.
Yeah. So, of course, this is with when Dooney sees this half video and runs out upset of the wedding party and gets confronted by Rosie in the hallway wearing her white dress, basically lying to the girl, telling her that I put the panties in his thing when we had sex. Like, they didn't have sex.
And how desperate are you, ma'am? If you had sex with him, you put your drawers on him and then come to his wedding, and he still didn't marry you. Like, okay, you still gain nothing after this besides making the bride cry, but you're not any closer to being in her position. But
I think after this, I'd be lucky if I didn't actively do things to you, against you. After this, if I'm him. Like, I'm trying to make you do your job.
You're trying to get back, right? Not that I am promoting domestic violence, but you asking for it right now.
I'm not a one.
At least from Dooney and her homegirl.
Yeah, at least that's what I was saying. I'm not a one who professes domestic violence or even violence at all, but when her girl came up and back slapped her, I was like, she kind of had that coming.
I'm like, yes, good.
You don't do all that and to nothing.
And then made her cry?
I know. Like, I don't want no dude to do nothing to you. You know, that bridesmaid putting her hand across your face. I think you kind of had that coming. All your tires should have been popped on your car. Something. Because you did wrong all that day.
She was doing the most for somebody else's wedding. How desperate. Yeah. Even Vesta didn't do all of this.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Vesta, all she did was like, congratulations. I thought it should have been me. That's it.
That was it. That was a calm for these side pieces these days. Goodness gracious. But then we get to the other not final, but one of the, just when you're like, what happened to the guy who stole the invitation? We get to the next scene.
Yeah, he gets a big scene at the end here. The guy that stole the invitation. I think his name was Luca, ultimately. But he sneaks into the room where they have all the wedding gifts put aside, and there's a big room full of wedding gifts that they have locked up. And so he snuck the key away from the wedding planner, and he's in there basically looking through to see what he can take. And this is after Dooney is left. So, of course, you got Obi and his brother come in to, I don't know why they came into the room. It seemed kind of an odd place to go to a locked room to talk when you're in all these hallways that you can talk in, but whatever. So they go into the room, catch the guy in the act of trying to take stuff, and the guy pulls a gun on him.
I had a little bit of respect for the robber right then, like, oh, you had the whole thing plan. I'm gonna go to this wedding. I'm gonna take this invitation. Like, I thought you just maybe wanted to take the invitation for social status. Like, I'm just gonna come in and see what they doing. He had a whole plot to it. Like,
Oh yeah,
forget the free meal and the souvenir. Where they get
I know
that?
he wasn't the gate crasher. The gate crashers, all they wanted, you said, free meal and a souvenir. This dude was plotting. He was stealing phones in the line outside. Jeez. He came there to make some money. And finally got to the big score where he's in the room with all the presents and everybody starts piling. You got the brothers come in, the groom and his brother come in, his father comes in, and then the bride's father comes in. Then of course the bride's mother, followed very shortly by the son.
Wait. Before the bride's mother comes in, I wrote down, the bride's dad tries to get out the room and says, I'm not even a member of this family. I'm like, so you're just going to denounce everybody? Like, I don't know.
Let me just go. Well, the mama did the same thing. When she came in, the guy was like, is anybody else coming in this room? And she's like, I'll go check.
I didn't even catch that. I wish I had. I didn't even catch her saying that.
She's like, I'll go check. Get yourself over there. Oh my goodness. But it was a perfect time for them they had all these epiphanies and come to Jesus moments in this room with this dude holding a gun on him. And found out, of course, that the mother and father of the bride don't have any money. The father has just confessed that we broke. We ain't been doing as well. I've been trying to keep it from you. And I thought that was so sweet. Her basically saying, it's like, I married you in, I have nothing. You can be honest with me. We'll figure it out. We'll get through this. And it was a loving gesture.
It was very loving. Dude, don't forget about the part where right after that she burst out into singing him the song, though. That's like they not let go.
Yeah, like there's no gun on them at this moment. Oh my goodness! And even we had a come to Jesus moment with the mother and father, Lady Obie and Felix, her husband.
Oh yeah, because she told him, if you messing with women who could be your daughter's age, I was like, I knew I saw it in his eyes with Rosie. That's his type. But yeah, I was happy that everybody was able to reconcile right then.
Yeah,
and is that no, okay. I think are we at the part where the groom's mom apologizes to Junie?
Not yet, because basically Sola, the one thing he did right was come in the door when he did, and they were able to get the drop on the guy with the gun. And so
right.
as Dozie is leaving to go and find the girl, Junie, his mother says to him, he's like, this is the woman I love, I'm married, it's not going to change. And she was just like, all of the anger had been kind of stripped of her in that situation. And she was just like, go get our wife, which basically, finally.
I made point of that. Yeah, I like the wording of that.
I like
also don't feel, I wonder, is that like as translation, was that a translation, I wonder? Or is that something they would say there? Because we wouldn't say, go get our wife. I mean, I understood where she was coming from, but it still was odd to me. Maybe it was just how it was translated, I wonder.
I think it's just a cultural thing. Like, in the same vein that the wedding is, it's not their wedding, it's the parents' wedding. So maybe, because they did say that a couple of times, throughout, something basically along the lines of, go get our wife, get our thing, get our daughter, that type of thing. So I think there's more of a collective our when they're talking about stuff like that. And before this point, she didn't say that. She wasn't trying to hear, our wife or any of that stuff. And, Dozie goes exactly to where he knows his bride is, apparently, making bonfires and wedding dresses on the beach. That was the thing that's like, I was like, okay, all right. She made a big bonfire on the beach in her wedding dress? Okay, fine.
I didn't realize she made the fire. I must have looked away then.
Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. All I can say is the scene, we show up, she's on the beach, there's a big bonfire that looks man, it doesn't look like an established thing that, she went someplace that there's a bonfire there all the time. It's just a bunch of wood on fire on the beach. Looks like she did it. There's nobody else around, so I have to assume she made this bonfire with no matches in a wedding without getting any dirt on her knees or anything like that to set this thing up. Anyway, so they have a nice.
You use Rosie's drawers.
Rosie's draws for kindling. Have a nice moment.
I want to give. This is where he redeemed himself for me, because I don't know what he said to Dooney, but I was still stuck in the car on the way to the reception with the drawers in his pocket until he said, "Why would I come? You are a virgin and I commit myself to you. Why would I wait until today to mess that up?" Like, I feel like maybe if he would have said that in the car, I wouldn't have held a grudge against him the whole movie, but he redeemed himself for me at that moment. Like, oh yeah, that does kind of make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You get the prize today, so why today would you mess it up with somebody else?
Yeah, that's that common sense logic right there. Yeah, it makes no sense it's like, you're going to get some tonight, so why, I'm going to ruin that with somebody I've already been with that I'm not interested in, anyway.
Yeah.
So that's winding down to the end of the movie. Right? Once they make up and decide to go back to the wedding, and of course I love that she slapped the shit out of Sola, slapped his head up good for causing trouble with the drive or whatever. Like, that's a cat that needs to slap upside his head too. They basically come back and you get to see, Lady Obi finally embrace her new daughter, and everybody's dancing and having a good time. Everything winds down after that. It was fun, this movie.
It was very fun. It was very fun. And short of a murder, it had every, it was everything. It was a drama. It was a comedy. It was suspenseful. We had thieves. We had hoes. We had taking over business. We had fake people with cats. We had flash drives and aggressive money throwing. Like, there was everything. It was action-packed from beginning to end, and I would definitely give another Nigerian movie a shot. It would need to have the mother in it, though, because as of today, she's my favorite Nigerian actor.
Yeah, they do have, this is a movie that does have a sequel that follows along with Dozier's brother and the white girl from London have a relationship in the follow-up movie, and they're trying to get married. So I was I didn't even want to see part two, but now I'm really kind of into it. So I'm going to have to check that out eventually. But you're right.
I don't know. I'm past it. But unless you tell me it was great, then I might give it a shot. But I want to see something different, I think.
Fair enough. I think they call them Nollywood pictures. I'm going to give more of them a shot because these were interesting. This was a fun movie that was a different sensibility than I was used to, but definitely had a good time with it.
And my overall takeaway from the movie is that little bit of effort that it took to understand somebody else's culture was so eye-opening. It was a little effort for a big reward. And if, to put my Miss America spiel on there, like, if everyone would do that for cultures that's not theirs, we would realize that this movie could have been any culture and all of the things that happened could still happen. It just so happened to be based in Nigeria with black people. You take away the language barrier, and this could have been any movie.
Right.
Any group
the
of people.
thing you'll see them do with something like this, if this becomes really popular, is I can see an American movie company or production company redoing this same movie, but with American actors.
And I'd watch
get a couple of name folks in it,
Yeah, I'd watch it with the because I wouldn't need subtitles. I catch all the references. I felt jealous of them knowing all the music. I'm like, oh, is this is this the happening songs in Nigeria right now? Like, they knew all the words. I felt left out. So yeah, it was a good movie though.
Yeah. So
shout out to Netflix.
Yeah. To recap, this was definitely one to enjoy, one to watch and have a good time. If you're somebody that's interested in this type of thing, learning about different cultures, like pretty costumes, like a little comedy, this was fun. But Ashley, where can people find you? Because I think we went on this time. We had so much fun talking about it.
I know. If you stay with us this long, we might as well continue the conversation on social media. You can find me on Twitter at Mrs. Ashley _J, ASHLEY. You can find me on Instagram as well at pretty _peculiar_.
And I am Scott, and you can find me at scott.fain on Instagram. And you can see any of the paper cut illustration pieces put together for these videos. I haven't decided what I'm going to do for this video just yet, but you'll be able to get any of those art pieces on scottfain.com. That's SCOTTFAIN. And
yes, let's take a minute to go over that. Definitely check out scottfain.com because you have some bomb pieces. I love the Jill Scott picture that you just did. I encourage everybody to go over there and take a look. Because you have movies and other, cultural references that, I think people would find really interesting and really cool. So definitely go take a look at that. Check out some of the ones. You plan to do one for each movie that we're reviewing. So guys, just don't forget to check out the other pieces too.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you saying that. But yeah, that's one of the things that makes this fun for me is I'm looking at it through not just the reviewer's eyes to see about a movie that I enjoy or don't enjoy, as the case may be, and also trying to find through my artistic eyes to find something laudable in every movie that I watch that I can at least commemorate and because you have to find something positive to make an art, at least I do, in order to make an art piece out of it. There's something about it that I like. We haven't really reviewed a movie that I hate yet. I mean, I hold up that I know that even that will happen. There'll just be some movie that set ourselves on watching that we'll end up not liking, but I might even do one for that too, because why not?
Yeah.
Anyway,
true.
Thank you again.
No problem.
Next time.
Yes, check us out on the next one. Have a good one, everybody.
Peace.